Hello, and welcome back to this week's episode of Tech Tips. My name is Lucas Morneau, and I'm the production manager here at Struts Gallery. Today, we'll be taking a look at the Atomos Shogun, an external recorder that is able to encode your 4K video in ProRes and Avid DNx codecs. So, let's take a look. Let's take a quick glimpse back at our past video on the Canon C100 Mark II. If we recall, one of the downsides to the camera was the codecs that the camera uses. While being a professional camera, the codecs offered on the C100 highly compressed our video, introducing strange artifacts. While the camera has this amazing sensor, the codecs lower the quality of the image, making this camera age quicker. Filming in lower resolutions isn't a huge problem though. There are some amazing cameras like the C100 that are not able to record in 4K, yet continue to be used by professionals today. So, is there a way to work around this? Can we upgrade the firmware or install new codecs onto the camera? Well, not at the moment with this camera, but there is a solution. If we want to lower compression, we can use an external recorder to record and encode a live camera feed. One external recorder available to rent from Struts & Fawcett is the Atomos Shogun. The Atomos Shogun can record 4K 10-bit 422 video through HDMI or SDI input sources. Now, of course, if your sensor is an 8-bit sensor, or if it can only encode in 420 chroma subsampling or 1080p, the Shogun cannot upscale your video into higher quality. Essentially, the Shogun is able to access the camera's uncompressed video and compress it itself, using either Apple's ProRes codec or Avid DNx codecs. It features a 7-inch touchscreen display, making the Shogun a great monitor as well. The Shogun comes packed in a hard case, including a Sony MPF battery, D-tap adapter, AC adapter, battery charger, disc caddies, disc reader, and XLR push-pull circular breakout cable. We've also thrown in HDMI and mini HDMI cables that work with most cameras. The Atomos Shogun features several ports, featuring HDMI in and out, 4K HD SDI in and out, Genlock in, a 3.5mm jack, and an audio multi-pin connector. Audio can be recorded in the Shogun via this latter connector, which our XLR breakout cables plug into. This means we can hook up either two XLR in and two XLR out. So we can both add microphones and also monitor our sound externally. The Shogun can also provide 48-volt phantom power, which you can enable by tapping the audio levels on the lower left of the screen, navigating to audio options, and turning phantom power on. The Shogun also features a Genlock in port. Genlock, short for generator lock, locks the internal timing system in a video device to an external reference signal during playback. Unlike most cameras, which use SD cards and compact flash, the Atomos Shogun uses solid-state drives, or SSDs, for storage. This is one of the advantages of using an external recorder. Not only can you get higher capacity devices with faster writing speeds, but they are cheaper per gigabyte than higher-end SD cards. Next, let's go over how to use the Atomos Shogun. To set up the Shogun, we'll attach it to our camera or to another tripod. The Shogun has two standard 1/4-inch mounts, with one on top and one on bottom, allowing it to be mounted to a tripod or the included cold shoe accessory. First things first, we need to ensure that our Atomos Shogun can record the video source. We'll touch the top left of the display, popping up the input menu. There are 4 sections to this menu, and we'll talk about each one. The first submenu on the left is the source area, where we determine which source the Shogun will record. We can choose from SDI or HDMI, so select the cable type that your camera is hooked up to. Do ensure that you have your cables plugged into the Atomos' in ports and not the out ports. The Atomos should recognize the camera and also give an option for color correction, though this is generally set up for specific cameras. For example, if I turn on the color correction with the Canon C100, it corrects the image as if it's a Canon 5D Mark III. The next submenu is the trigger submenu. This area tells the Shogun what will trigger it to record, whether you use the shutter button on the camera or through timecode. Here, we'll select HDMI and ensure that trigger is enabled. Before we record, we have to ensure that external recording is enabled on the camera. This process will differ from each camera, but for an example, we'll show you how to set up the Atomos Shogun on the Canon C100 Mark II. To set up the Canon C100 for the Shogun, we'll turn on the camera and navigate the menu to Video Setup. Then, HDMI. Here, we'll turn timecode on, which will unlock Record Command. Turn on Record Command and exit the menu. Now, when we push the shutter button to record, the Atomos will also record. The next submenu is the Record submenu. Here, we can choose the resolution and frame rate we record in. We can also choose to turn on pre-roll and set up a 3D LUT, or lookup table. You need to ensure that the frame rate you want your video recorded in is set on the Atomos and not the camera. The final submenu is the Video Out submenu. This is where we can set up an additional external monitor, like a director's monitor. Like the Source submenu, we can choose between SDI and HDMI. And again, ensure you're plugging in your external monitors into the out ports. We can also choose to downsample to 1080p and use a 3D LUT on the monitor if needed. After we're done with the Source menu, we need to ensure the Atomos Shogun is recording in the right codec. Again, this is one of the main reasons why we use an external recorder. So, it's important to set your codec setting every time you record. We'll tap the top center of the screen, opening up the Record Format menu. Here, we can choose the codec and quality. We can choose between Apple's ProRes codec and Avid DNx. The easiest way to decide is to choose the codec based on the operating system you'll be editing on. If you are a Mac user, ProRes will work best for editing, whereas DNxHD and DNxHR work best for Windows machines. From here, we can choose the quality. When I plug in the Canon C100, I'm able to choose between ProRes offering 3 tiers from ProRes HQ, ProRes 422, and ProRes LT, and DNx offering 4 with DNxHD 2220's X, 220, 145, and 36. When recording in 4K, you have the option of DNxHR, with some different quality options as well. DNxHR works better for resolution sizes larger than 1080p, whereas DNxHD works great for 1080p and lower. The Shogun will actually give you an estimate of how many hours of recording you can put onto the SSD with each codec, ensuring you have enough space on your storage device for all your footage. If you want to set up different naming or numbering settings, you can change this through another menu in the top center. After this, we're ready for recording. The Atomos Shogun offers shooting menus to help with focus and exposure. By pushing the blue icon in the bottom right, we can access waveforms and vector scopes. This will help with monitoring exposure, color, and your highlights and shadows. You can also alter the size of the monitors, choosing to take up all the screen or just a small portion. The icon next to the blue waveform icon is the Monitor Assist menu. Here, we can activate zebras, false color, monochrome, and focus peaking to ensure proper exposure and focusing. We can even change the hue of the focus peaking. Here, we can also zoom in to ensure our focus is tack sharp. Next to the Monitor Assist menu is a green icon for cut and tags, where we can tag certain videos as close-ups, wide shots, talent A, talent B, etc. Next to this icon is the yellow icon, where we can control our monitor's 3D LUT. Here, we can also change the Y lift and gain, gamma, and screen brightness. Now, this is generally where I go over the pros and cons of a piece of equipment. However, I feel like this can be summed up in this simple point. If you're looking to up the quality of your camera, using an external recorder like the Atomos Shogun is a great way to unlock your camera's potential. If your camera already has a 10-bit ProRes 422 or a DNxHD, there is no need to use an external recorder unless you want the bigger screen. There are other external recorders on the market, and this one is a bit old now. If you're looking for something with a smaller screen, the Atomos Ninja is a great alternative. In conclusion, if you're looking to record high-quality video but don't want to upgrade your camera, using an external recorder like the Atomos Shogun is a great solution. For more information about renting the Atomos Shogun, as well as other audio and video equipment from Schritz & Fawcett, links are down below in the description box. My name is Lucas Morneau, this is Tech Tips, and I wish you all the best.